Hey guys, and welcome back to my world. I'm doing a remake of a mechanic I did ages ago when I was doing the Snowquake map, purely because I am now redid the mechanic for a little mini game I'm working on. But what I've got over here is a teleportation ring, so that is a retextured ender pearl. So if I throw it, you'll see that I will teleport to where it lands, and then after a few seconds I get a new one. Okay, so I will always permanently have one of these rings in my inventory. Okay, so it's pretty cool. Now the cool thing about this is I can't cheat more in either. So if I, for example, drop it, you'll see immediately it disappears. Okay, but then eventually I get one back again. Drop it, disappears, and eventually I get one back again. But you can see I can actually drop any other item without any kind of a problem. Okay, it is just when I drop an ender eye that it disappears. Oh, okay. So there we go. I can drop any item at any time. Okay, and pick them up. But this one disappears when I throw it. Right, it's a very nice, neat little mechanic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the texture pack and then go and have a look at the commands. Okay, so here we are at the command blocks. Now there's 5 command blocks that run it. 2 of them run the deletion of the item, and 3 of them run the actual return of the item. Okay, so I have a scoreboard objective set up called Ender Inventory, and it's a dummy objective. Okay, so it's just a dummy objective. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to be testing a player's inventory for a partial NBT match on an item in their inventory. Okay, so if you have a look, I'm going to be looking for the player's inventory for any item that has a tag, display, lore, reach higher places. If I find that item, I am going to set their ender inventory score to 20. Now this 20 is important because this is the amount of ticks it's going to take before the item is returned. So if you want to have a longer period of time, you can set it to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, however long you want before they get the item back. This is where you can set it. Okay. First off, I find the item. So if we go and have a look at my teleportation ring, you'll see that it is an ender eye or ender pearl, and it's got a law of reach higher places. Now the reason I'm using a law is laws can't be added in game or creatively or anything like that unless you're an admin, and unless you have rights to run admin commands, you cannot add that. So people can't cheat in new ones. Okay, in this case it doesn't really matter, but for other items it might. Okay, so that's the first thing I do. I look for an item. When it has the law, I give them 20 seconds on their clock, if you want to call it that. The next thing I do is I have another objective called drop. Okay, now what drop is, it is a stat.drop objective. Okay, so I need to go use a stat. Now what the stat.drop does is when you drop an item, it adds 1 to your score. So if I drop 10 items, it's going to add 10 to my score. Okay, but I'm only interested that a player has actually dropped an item. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be executing at any player, so at all players that has a drop score of at least 1, has a ender inventory score of minimum 90 and have 19, and have an ender inventory score of exactly 19. If they match, I'm going to be killing all items in a 3-block radius. Now the 19 and 19 here is very important because directly after this, okay, I'm just removing from all players who has at least an ender inventory of 1, I'm removing 1. Okay, right, so to just recap, I'm looking for the item. I find the item, I give them a score of 20. I then look if that score is 19, but because it's not 19, because I have the item, I'm not going to be deleting any item at all. Okay, I'm then subtracting 1 from that score. Okay, so now it's 19, but because this command block has already run, it's not going to delete anything at all. Okay, the next thing I do is, okay, if they have an ender inventory score of 0, okay, and exactly 0, I am then going to give them that item. Okay, right? And then the last thing I'm doing is any player that has a drop score of 1, I'm resetting it back to 0 so that it doesn't kill it. Okay, so find the item, give them 20, look if their score is 19. If the score is not 19, I ignore it. I then subtract 1 from that 20, which is 19. If the score is not is 0, I give them an item, but the score is not 0, so I don't give them anything because the score is 19. I then, if they've got a drop score of 1, I reset it to 0. It goes back again. If I have the ender pearl, I set it to 20, but if I've thrown the pearl, it won't set it to 20. So now this is 19. So if an item has been dropped, I will delete it. Okay, I then subtract 1, so my score is now 18. It's not 0, so I'm not giving them 1. I haven't dropped anything. Go back. I don't have the item, so I don't set it to 20. I don't delete it. I don't give them an item. I subtract 1, so they're now on 17, and so forth and so forth. So it keeps on subtracting until it gets to 0 and then gives me the item. That's it. This will be in the description, so do check it out. Yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will check you all later.